Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Australian Sport Edition show presented by the BJ Show. This episode will be sharing the upcoming 2025 Suncrop Super Netball season, which is shared. All the latest scores, result, all that here on the Australian Sport Edition show. We'll have all the latest of the NRL with all the scores, updates, ladder, wherever that. We'll have all the one day and the Ship and Shell final between South Australia and Queensland Bulls. That's only to do with the Ship and Shield, and we'll also share the one day. So we'll crack a lot of that. We will also have all that from Kin Russian Oval. We'll all share the NBL One seasons already started, where you can get it and all that. So and that's an off-season competition here in Australia, and I mentioned one day finals as well. It's a big year for the cricket for South Australia. It's fantastic. So we got so much to cover right here on the Australian Sport Edition show, the Australian Sport Edition show presented by the BJ Show. So first up, we'll get straight into the cricket news. So Ship and Shield, which is the Australian cricket competition, and we had finals. So the final game before we start the off season, and we had South Australia and Queensland Bulls. And my goodness, this hell was in Adelaide. Kin Russian Oval was located for this game, and it was well done to South Australia, making it a big time and winning it the first time in such a long time. But we got a question for you, and we'll like to take that. We'll share that very soon. But the game went, this series of Ship and Shield went for 4 days here for a fun quiz, and as I'm going to say, the question is, when was the last time that South Australia won the Ship and Shield final? Find out at the end of this episode here on the Australian Sport Edition show. So find out from that, and you know the answer. That is great. I would like to congratulate to the one day South Australian winning that game as well. So well done on that. So a big off-season cricket for the South Australians. Let's enjoy every moment. It's a big deal from that. I'll tell you the share of that. So we move on to some NRL news, and we have so much to cover. We start with round 3 with Storms and Pandas. Storm and Pandas. Storm taking a big win over the Pandas, 30-24 on Thursday night ball, which they have to start off round 3. Well, Storm's pretty good in rugby. They're the Melbourne-based team. You know, they did pretty well. Well done to the Pandas. You did well on Thursday night. And round 3, we come to Friday night. We have the Warriors hosting the Roosters, and Warriors taking another big win, just taking the line 14-6, really. And also the Brokens and the Cowboys, and a nice 10-point win, 26-16 to the Brokens over the Cowboys on a double Friday night football, which is awesome to have 2 games on one night. We come to Saturday footy for NRL. First, we have the Dolphins and the West Tigers, and West Tigers taking the win. And we have up next on the Saturday footy, we have the Titans and the Knights. Titans taking a nice win, 26-6. So the big win, biggest win for their round. We also now come up with the Eels and the Bulldogs, with Bulldogs taking another win, 10-8, so taking the win over the line. And the final game for round 3 for NIL, we have is Sea Eagles and the Raiders, with Sea Eagles taking a strong win, the biggest margin, 40-12. So, and we have the Dragons taking the bye for the round. Now we move on to round 4. We're back on Thursday night football from the NRL. We have the Raiders and the Pandas start off round 4, with Raiders taking the win, 28-18 over the Pandas. So well done to that. We come to another double Friday night. Roosters and the Tennis taking the 30-12 win over the Roosters. We come to the second Friday night with Dolphins and the Brokens taking another win. That's a good start to them. Dolphins heads up, but they take a 20-12 over the Dolphins for the Brokens. We got to Saturday football for NRL. We first up Dragons, coming off that bye, they take on Storm, which taking a 14-8 win over the Storm. So it is the Dragons taking the win, 14-8 over the Storm. Next up, Cowboys and Raiders, with Cowboys taking the win over the Raiders. And the Sharks and the Bulldogs on Saturday Monday Night Football for the NIL, and we have Bulldogs taking the win over the Sharks 20-6. Sunday Football, first up, Sea Eagles and the Eels with Sea Eagles taking the win 26-12. So there's been some good games, there's been some close games, there's been some massive wins. And the final game for NIL, we have West Tigers and the Warriors. Warriors taking the big win 26-24. The closest game, and that should be the game of the round, but that's alright. West having the bye for this week was the Knights for round 4. Time to reviews and thoughts. Yes, I have missed round 4 reviews and thoughts during that time. So now I'm going to share reviews and thoughts for round 5 for the NRL. Here we go. Thursday night we have the Runners and the Sharks. Both teams need to keep on winning. I am going with the Sharks. I believe they have a better knowledge, and I think they'll do well for that game. Friday night we have 2 Friday night games continuing on to this NRL season. Panthers and the Cowboys, and I'm going with the Panthers. I think they'll just take over the line, and it should be a good one. And we got Runners and the Roosters, and I'm going towards Runners. Well, I know they start well. Can they finish off? And I think they will do well for this game. Now we come to the next game. Is Saturday Football for NRL with the Eels and the Dragons, and the Dragons is my game to win this game and do well. Eels, I know you'll do well, but it should be a close game. We come up with the Tigers and the Dolphins, and the Tigers with the tip I went with, and I think they've started well. The Tigers, I think they'll do, and I have tipped them to win. Brokens and West Tigers, what should be a good game to watch. I have gone with the Brokens, which is in Brisbane, and I think they'll do well at home with that done. We come to Sunday ball for the NRL. First up is the Eagles and Storm. I think it could be one of the hardest games to tip, and I have gone with a hard game to choose. It's the Sea Eagles. I think they'll do well, and never know what can happen. And we come to the final game for round 5 for the NRL. We have top place Bulldogs, 8th place Knights. I went for the Bulldogs. They're very strong, and I think they'll be another good game to watch in the round. So that's all for now for NRL. Stay tuned for more for the next episode here on the NRL on the Australian Sports Edition show. We now come to the upcoming 2025 Suncrop Super Netball. We previously shared the pre-season tournament here in Adelaide, South Australia, with Adelaide Thunderbirds defeated West Coast Fever with a nice championship on their belt, but that means absolutely nothing in my opinion. It's a good way to have all teams come together as a fun little tournament, but the season is real here, and it all starts from the 6th of April. What should be a great season? Could it be the LA Thunderbirds going back to back, or could it be the Melbourne Phoenix replying from that back loss, paying in what Adelaide did? But we now see. Let's find out. Every episode here on the Australian Sports Edition show will share all the scores, ladders, results, and right here on the Australian Sports Edition show presented by the BJ Show. So that's just a quick wrap from what's coming up. Say, make sure search Google the Suncrop, SUNCORP Super Netball. So that's the type you want, and you'll see should have all, and then you put ladder or results or whatever, you'll see all that on Google. So now we come up with finishing off with some NBL, some basketball off season for the National Basketball League. We have what they're known for, NBL One. So all different teams, I'm going to share where you can get the access, and just type NBL One with the number one or the all NBL ONE any way you want on Google. So I'll do my best to share as many games as possible. That could be another episode. I'm happy to share all the latest results and all that here on the Australian Sports Engine show. I'll share as much as I can, a little bit as I go. So there are some competitions here around the globe here in Australia. The first up I'm going to share is North. So North is in Queensland, which we all know obviously, but that is actually what it is. So their season starts off from the 1st of May. So coming really in the next month, starting off as I record this episode. East is New South Wales. So they have started their season since the 29th of March. So the end of March. So about a week ago since I recorded this episode. South, which is in Victoria. So not their season on the 29th of March. So all the information is already on there. Check their website as well on Google. We got the West of Western Australia. They started their season from the 4th of April, which is coming since I've recorded this episode. It will, when it comes out, it will already begin already. So make sure you keep an eye on that. And then Central schedule is South Australia, Adelaide, which they have already started their season the same time as Victoria. So it's great to have this all around the globe of Australia to have their own NBL One, which is all the same, all on one page, but different parts of the Australia has their own names, like North, South, East, West, Central, simple as that. So we have now at the very beginning of this episode, we have the cricket news. We start off, and it was the Shipping Shield final between South Australia and Queensland Ball. And I want to say, well done to South Australia claiming the title. Now the question I ask is to you, or if you know the answer, great. But when was the last time that South Australia won the Shipping Shield? 29 years ago. So this is a 14th title in their history since they joined the Shipping Shield. Enjoy moments and what cricket seasons, what should be all about coming out. I'll do my best, and every moment they'll have more cricket news coming out very soon, so keep an eye on that. But before we go, as I mentioned, congratulations on South Australia, also known as SA, won in one day as well. So a big year for South Australia winning that as well. But all the latest episodes Aussie Footy Show is now out with all the AFL, SANFL, SANFL and SANFLW on 2 separate episodes. Alright, thanks for listening. Stay tuned. This will be out as soon as I can. I'm sorry about the little bit of delayness as I'm very, very busy with other things around, but I'm trying to get everything out as soon as possible. Alright, thanks for listening, and we will see you soon. BJ Show is out.